Everyone, welcome to tonight's art chat. If you are new here, I'm Emily Gillespie, and I'm an artist based in Central Florida. I live there with my husband, our teenage son, and our 17-year-old dachshund named Jack. I also work full-time outside the home, so I don't always get to spend as much time making and creating as I would like, but that is obviously something I'm super passionate about, so I've made an intentional choice to include it in my life. I've been an artist for over a decade now, and one of my greatest passions is cheering on other creatives. These art chats are the place to come for discussions about subjects like self-care for creatives, the evolution of an artist's voice, and learning to be vulnerable in sharing your work and gifts. I'm so glad you're here joining me tonight. Today's talk is inspired by a TEDx talk I recently saw at a local Central Florida event. Amy Sweezy, a local public figure, talked about the ways that she's reinvented herself in her career and in her personal life. Amy's original background was in journalism, but after getting a formal education and entering the workforce in that area, she realized that it wasn't a good fit for her. She decided to make the jump into TV weather, but rather than just being an on-air personality who delivered the weather forecasts, she wanted to be able to back that up with the full knowledge of a meteorologist. So back to school she went. Amy got her degree in meteorology and then worked as a meteorologist in the Central Florida market for close to 3 decades before deciding to make another transition. She retired from her meteorology career and became an author and public speaker. That was back in 2020, but before that, she was a favorite meteorologist and personality for our family. We always tuned in when we knew she would be on, which was in the mornings when we were getting ready for work. So we were familiar with her name already, and when we saw that she would be speaking at the TEDx Eustace event, we definitely tuned in to see what she had to say and what she was up to now that she wasn't on the air. Amy's talk made me start thinking about all the ways that we can reinvent ourselves, especially when we're in the beginning stages of something new, like learning a creative hobby. I'll link Amy's talk in the comments below if you're interested in hearing more, but that's the main background you need to know for what I'm going to talk about today. To get started with my take on the subject, let's talk about what reinventing yourself really means. A quick Google search tells us that reinvention is the action or process through which something is changed so much that it appears to be entirely new. And that's the same definition Amy used in her presentation. We can look at examples of that in real life. Basically, reinvention is making the most out of a transition. For example, going from single to married, from childless to being a parent, going from an employee to being a business owner. Other examples could be a weight loss journey or other health journey, an occupation change, a relocation, or any kind of personal growth, chasing after a goal or a dream, working to advance yourself, increasing your happiness. The main purpose, whatever it is that you're doing, the main purpose of reinvention is to bring more happiness to your life by bringing you closer to your purpose. And you can reinvent yourself anytime you want. There's no limit to when you can do it, where, why, or even how many times. You can change and reinvent yourself as much as you want. A couple famous examples that you might be familiar with. I'm sure you all know Katy Perry. She actually started out as a gospel singer. Kanye West is always doing something different, and seems to be successful. Taylor Swift has reinvented herself so many times that she is currently on, I think, a year-long stadium tour to showcase all those transformations. Every album, every era, it has been a reinvention. There's also Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was a bodybuilder and then an actor and then a politician. The Rock. And there's lots of other examples. I don't need really to keep going. But all of those examples are people who have chosen to reinvent themselves. And they have their own reasons. We maybe don't know the specific reason behind that. But they made that decision. And then other times, reinvention might be forced upon you, and you have to act in a way to make the best of it. So if you are wanting to reinvent yourself or recreate yourself, you might want to know, you might ask, how do you know when it's time? Maybe if you are feeling stuck in your life, discontent with how things are going, disillusioned, burned out, bored, if you are not happy with the direction your life is taking, if it's not reflecting your values or your goals, that could be a good time to reconsider what you're doing, and if you want to change paths and try something new and different. If you don't know how to start, you can obviously start by analyzing what it is that you want to do, or what it is that you don't like about your current life. Come up with a plan. Gather your courage, because this is not a quick process or easy. Build a new routine. Prioritize and re-emphasize to yourself what is really important. Be aware of the people that you surround yourself with, and if you can, find a mentor or anyone around you that will be a cheerleader, who will support you and keep you going in the right direction. Be open to the changes you'll need to make this happen. So many of the things in life that hold us back are self-imposed. They're limiting beliefs. They're the idea that that's too hard, I can't do it, I'm not capable, I don't know how, I don't know how to get started. And as with anything else, there's going to be setbacks, there's going to have to be sacrifices. You're going to have to make a choice based upon your priorities, and that might mean giving up on other things. And even if those things are good and beautiful, you still might have to make a decision. But don't focus on what you're giving up. Focus instead on what you're gaining and working toward. Take it slow. The process of, or the act of reinventing yourself is a process. It's not something you can just switch in the blink of an eye. It's not going to be an overnight transition. You're going to face challenges. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to slip up and revert back to your old habits. But it's really important to be patient with yourself. You're never too old to change, and it's never going to be too late to make a change, especially if it's something for the better that will lead you toward the life that you have dreamed of. Along this line, you always hear those stories in the news about people who have reinvented themselves later in life. There's the sweet elderly lady who went back to college and graduated at the age of 97. There's lots of examples like that. But the one I'm going to highlight right now is a woman named Gladys Burrell. And you probably don't know who she is. You have no idea. You've never heard of her. She wasn't a celebrity. She was just a regular woman who started running at the age of 86. And that in itself is kind of remarkable. But then, think of all the other people at that age who might be just kind of settled in their ways. They don't feel like they can take a shot at something new or something they'd never done before. But Gladys did that. She started something, she didn't give up, and she kept working at it until she completed her first marathon, which is 26.2 miles, if you don't know. She finished that when she was 92, and she became the Guinness Book World Record holder for the oldest person to have run a marathon. And so that brings me to my main point there. You don't need to be famous or have a lot of resources to start over or to try something new. You really just need a positive attitude and the willingness to work and perseverance to keep going. My example of this, which I've shared before, but if you're not familiar, back in 2012, I used to work an accounts receivable at just a local company. I mean, it was in Orlando, but it was an international company. I was young. I think I was maybe 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there. I don't recall exactly. I didn't love it, but it was a job. And at that time, I was thankful to have a job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And I was often wondering and thinking about what I wanted to do when I grew up. I was there for 6 years, and I ended up losing that job. I got let go, and that was not a great experience. It was awful, but I was so thankful at the same time for the opportunity to move in a new direction. So at that time, this kind of ties back into my introduction. At that time, I had a young son at home. I think my son was maybe 2 or 3. But I was able to be home with him and spend some time, quality time as a mom. I was still interviewing for new positions to try and find another job. But I also had the opportunity to explore some different things and figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And it was then that I got introduced to Jean Oliver. I discovered my creativity. I started doing art classes. I started doing just painting and engaging with other creatives, which I had never done before. It was like a whole new world, and I loved it. So that was in 2012. We're in 2024 now. I'm still going. I'm still at it. And it has just, I never thought I would find something that I loved, like I love art and making things and creativity. But it's been a huge learning experience. I've grown a lot. I've learned about perseverance, and of course there's been times when I wanted to just throw everything away and forget about it all, because I just, you know how it is with creativity. We're vulnerable. We're super harsh on ourselves. And the inner critic is the worst. But 12 years later, I've found another job shortly after. I was only unemployed for about 6 months, but I work at a full-time job outside the home. And over the last 12 years, I've grown so much as an artist, as a creative, but also in a ton of other ways, like a mom, wife, friend, daughter, and I'd like to think I've grown as an overall person. And I kind of think, maybe that would have happened anyway over the years. I would hope so. But a lot of that is because I reinvented myself as an artist and a creative, and I connected with who I really was on the inside without knowing it. So going back to the definition of reinvention that I talked about in the beginning, reinvention is the action or process through which something is changed so much that it appears to be entirely new. I feel like I reinvented myself during that time. And you can too, if you want. Don't let the fear hold you back. I know the unknown can be scary, but it's also full of so much possibility and beauty. I really want to encourage you to live your dream and not what other people want for you. We are all capable of transformation. We just have to be intentional about it. So, as I'm wrapping up, I want to ask you, what do you want to reinvent about yourself? Where and when are you going to begin? What are you going to do to make those changes? If you're comfortable sharing, I'd love for you to leave a comment or send me a DM and just let me know how I can cheer you on and support and encourage you as you are working toward a better self. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. If you have any ideas about something you'd want me to talk about in another art chat in the future, let me know. Otherwise, make sure you're following me here on Instagram to get notified about future episodes, or join my mailing list to be the first to know about new art collections, behind the scenes information, and more. You can go to emilyjaleski.com to sign up. That's Emily Jaleski. It's the same as my Instagram handle here, and you can sign up for that. So I will see you guys here next time. My next chat is... I didn't write it down, but I'll let you know on Instagram when it's coming up. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week.